Hey, my people, it's your girl, Too Blessed. I hope y'all are having a great day. Today is Tuesday, so tomorrow's Wednesday. We are almost through this week, okay? But let me tell y'all, I've actually already recorded a video in my car. But then after I recorded the video, I was like, man, this is such a serious topic. I really don't want to leave anything out that I really meant to say. And then I had the phone up on the car mount and it was like shaking and rattling. And I was like, you know what? This is too raggedy for this conversation. So thought I might do it in my house. Anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about being a fatherless child. Y'all, okay. So if y'all see me looking up, it's because I'm checking on this fish tank we got. It's a little bitty fish tank we got. We got two African dwarf frogs. They real little. They like this long when they stretch out. And that, I mean, like an inch when they stretch out. Inch and a half maybe when they stretch, okay? But see, we had two of them originally, right? Both of them died like 2 weeks ago, right? So Cameron doesn't know that they died. He think that they were just hiding in the little castle that we have inside the tank. And I went and I've had to water test it, and I bought two more, and I showed him yesterday, like, look, they're out or whatever. And he was like, oh yeah. So he has no idea. So I keep checking on him because I don't want him to die again. Okay. It's just too traumatic. We just lost the beta fish. I didn't want just too much. Okay. So anyway, I keep checking on these fish, making sure they're okay. But anyway, I just wanted to come on and talk today about being a fatherless child, because I told y'all in my previous video that was one of the topics I really wanted to discuss. It's a really serious topic because it affects so many of us, especially in the Black community. It's so prevalent. It's a really serious topic, and it is a really personal conversation, to be 100% honest, but you never know when you help somebody. You never know when you help somebody. And it's not something that really I'm ashamed of, because it's not something that's my fault. So I'm not ashamed of it. It's not a secret. So anyway, growing up, let me see. My dad and my mom was together for a little bit that I can remember as a child. They were together for a while, but as far as what I remember, they were together for a little while. But the relationship was so dysfunctional, y'all. I'm talking about dysfunctional all the way. Like, I remember just sitting on the couch and them fighting all the time, like fist fighting all the time. Not to where like my dad was beating up my mom, but more or less like my mom was beating on my dad. Or whatever, because there were times where he would just be out all night, and he would walk in the door, and as soon as he walked in the door, I'd be on the couch and she'd be waiting on him with a vase. And all you would hear is like, oh no, wait, baby, don't throw that, don't do that. Boom. Ah, baby, come on. That's all you would hear. So to me, it was normal. I don't feel like I'm traumatized because of it, because it was normal to me as a child. And when I say like little, y'all, I mean, I was like maybe 3 or 4. I don't know how I remember this. Maybe I was traumatized because I don't know how I remember this, but I do remember them going through this. But and when I think about it now, I'm like, that is insane. Why would y'all do that in front of y'all baby girl? But whatever. So that's what I remember of my mom and my dad being together. Okay, so they separated when I would say about 4, because I know my mom, when I was about maybe 3.5, because my mom met who became my stepdad, when I was about 4. And they got married when I was 5. So I would say they separated when I was about 3.5, 4, maybe, or whatever. But I didn't see my dad much at all, maybe like once a year. I would see him, and when I did see him, it wasn't like father-daughter bonding time, if you know what I mean. Like, he didn't take me to parks or, somewhere fun to hang out or out to eat. I don't think, let me see, I've been out to eat once with my dad, and that was a few years ago when I took him out to eat. And that was just the freshest. I took him out to eat. And that was a few years ago. So, yeah, I never really spent like that father-daughter time with my dad. So when I did see my dad that once a year, I would stay the night with them. I would go, he'd be with whatever female he was with at the time. There was one main woman he would be with the majority of the time, but there were two other women I could remember staying the night over their house. But when I did stay the night, he wasn't there. Like, he literally wasn't there. So I would see him when I first got there for a little while, literally a little while, and he would leave. And he'll be gone all night. I remember him coming in at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was supposed to be asleep, so I would just lay there pretending to be asleep. But I remember one time he actually came in and he had gotten jumped by some guys. And I remember I hate Nets. But I remember him and the woman talking about him being jumped or whatever. And, I was just laying there. So I literally didn't spend any time with him. Hardly at all. I didn't spend any time with him. There were plenty of times when he would say he was coming. My mom never did talk bad about my dad to me. She never did that. She never talked bad about my dad to me. She just let me see for myself, basically. He would say he was coming to get me sometimes when I would talk to him. And remind you, even though I only see him once a year, I still only actually talk to him maybe twice a year, if that. So I didn't talk to him much. So anytime I would hear from my dad, it was always like exciting. Like, I was so excited to hear from my dad. And I just knew, like, okay, this time we're going to spend time together. We're going to have so much fun and everything like that. And there were plenty of times, of course, that he said he was coming and he never did. I remember just, waiting for him on the days he said he was coming to get me. I remember just looking out the window because we could see the cars coming down the road. So I remember looking out the window, wondering, like, okay, is that him? Is that him? And my mom, she never used to say anything. She never used to say anything. But now that I'm a mom and I'm older, I know that really used to kill her. I know it did, watching me do that. But I was a young girl. I was naive. I just believed that he was just going to come and we were just going to, have this amazing fun time with my dad. And like, it's awkward to me to say the word dad or a daddy like that. It feels awkward to me, like rolling off my tongue. Like, it doesn't just flow like mama. That just flows. Like dad, it's like weird. Like, I don't know. It feels awkward to me because I'm not accustomed to calling anybody dad because I didn't grow up like that. I really didn't. I didn't grow up like that. So it's awkward to me. So anyway, there were times, like, even when I would stay night, at his house, it was times when, like, I wouldn't even see him until, like, the next day when it was time for me to go. Sometimes I didn't even see him then. And I would just be with whoever he was with at the time, whatever woman he was with at the time. That's who I was there with, or whatever. So to me, growing up, that was normal. Okay. Now I did tell y'all I had a stepfather, right? He's my little brother's dad. Okay. Now he is a good man, hardworking, took care of, us and the house and everything, like make sure we was good. But we never really had that father-daughter bond at all. Like, I never called him dad as a child. Like, it just wasn't, we actually like didn't get along very well when I was younger. He never did anything to me. I never did anything to him. It was just like, we just irritated each other so. But, he always made sure we was well taken care of and things like that. But still, I was still missing like that father, you know, in my life. Like I didn't have that bond with him. We never did father-daughter, things or anything like that. So I was still missing that piece of the puzzle. And then on top of everything else, my mom would always tell me that, guys only want one thing. You better not give them that one thing or you get pregnant, Basically, this is all I got out of it. Well, with all the stuff she would tell me about guys, I didn't have anything else to really balance it out with. Like, my stepdad, I don't know, it was just so weird because he took care of us, but I don't know why I never balanced out what she said with his example of a man. I don't know why. I just never balanced it out like that. I just always heard what she was telling me, and then I seen what my daddy was doing. So it was like just a double negative. Like, she's telling me how bad guys are, and then I'm seeing how my father is. So I'm like, oh my gosh, everything she's saying is true, which, to a certain degree it is, but I think I took it a little bit too far. Whatever. Like, I was to the point where a guy couldn't even give me a compliment. He couldn't even give me a compliment at one point in time because I would just be like, because I just felt like if you giving me a compliment, daggone, I just felt like if you were giving me a compliment, it was leading to something. Like, and for a lot of guys, yes, they're trying to talk to you. They were trying to get your number. But for some guys, and then you could still just say thank you and keep it pushing. I mean, it was like instant attitude. And I really drove a lot of guys away, which is a good thing because it did weed out the losers. It really did weed them out because they just didn't want to take the time to deal with me. Like, they wanted what was easy, simple, fast. And I was just not that person. So anyway, you had something to say? Sorry, y'all. Anyway, so that's kind of the way I grew up. I was just accustomed to being let down by men, I should say. And at the time, I didn't really think I had a good example of what a man was. You know what I mean? Like, my dad was my example, and he let me down every time. And now I will say that my dad did have a drug problem. So that played a lot into it. So, like, that explained all the nights he was out. There were times, it's a lot. I mean, without going into crazy detail, it's a lot that happened or whatever. And it just really just made me hard on guys. Like, I really, to this day, like, this is something I still struggle with to this day because, like, I have no reason, absolutely no reason, like, not to 100%, trust my husband, and I do. But, like, in the back of your head, it's always that, like, one day, what if he show you he just completely not who you thought he was? Or one day it's going to change. Or one day, just because I grew up with the opposite. So it just made it hard to trust guys. Period. Because I just never had that example. And I actually thought that was normal. Like, I thought it was so normal not to have a dad. I literally thought that was the way it was supposed to be. And in the neighborhood I grew up in, a lot of my friends didn't have their dad around. So that just made it even more normal for me because then nobody had their daddy around. So anytime I heard of anybody going somewhere with their dad or going over their dad's house, I always thought in the back of my head, oh, that's their once a year. Because I always see my dad once a year. So in my head, that was their once a year. I never thought about it like they actually see their dad or spend time with their dad. Or other times I would hear them talk about their dad. It was always like the dad is giving them money or something like that. So then I thought like, oh, they sort of paying them off. I never thought about it like they actually have a father, because that wasn't my normal. My normal was nobody has a dad. Everybody has either a stepfather or a single parent. Nobody has their dad. So as I got older, when I started to like make friends and be around people who actually like have relationships with their dad, that was weird to me. Like, for example, my husband, when he told me his dad like was around and like they had a relationship and like they talked on the phone and did stuff, it was weird to me. Like, I'm like, you little bougie two parent heaven. Like, that just wasn't normal to me. Like, that's not what dads do. Dads don't stick around. Dads don't take care of you. Like, it's just weird. It's just weird to me. And to this day, like, I'm meeting more and more people who actually have their dad around. I'm like, like all y'all had dads like y'all whole life? Like y'all had dads all this time? Like, I don't know. And I thought I was doing okay, like with this whole situation, until my husband and I had took the kids to the mall one day, and I seen this man and this little girl walk onto the playground. We took the kids to the mall to play on a little playground inside the mall, because it's been just way too hot to be out on a playground with some kids. So we took them to the little place at the mall, and this man walked in with, I perceived it to be his daughter. And she was playing, and he went and sat down, and the way they walked, you could tell that this was their normal. She was accustomed to spending time with her dad. He was accustomed to having her. And she just started playing. And I remember her saying, hey, look at me, watch me, watch me. And he was looking, and she was just playing. And I remember saying to my husband, like, I wonder what that's like. Like, I wonder what that feels like. And I think that's part of it when it really hit me, like, dang, that really did affect me. Like, I mean, out of all the stuff, besides all the other stuff, all the other issues I have because of it, that was one time it actually really did hit me, when I thought in my head, like, dang, I wonder what that's like to just like spend a day with your dad, to just like spend time with your dad. And he looked at me like, dang, that's kind of messed up. That's kind of messed up that you gotta wonder like that. And that's when it really just hit me, like, dang, like that is crazy, huh? Because that's not normal. And I'm just now coming to realize how not normal it is to expect to not have a father, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not normal for me to expect for you to not have a father. But that's what I've expected, because that's all I knew was, dad's never being around, or, they doing, drive-by, hugs and kisses, that's all I knew. So, stuff like that is just weird to me. I don't know. Maybe I need to see a therapist. But the point of me making this video and telling all this personal stuff is because I know I'm not the only one, and I know it's a lot of people out there that may be in the same boat as me. Not to mention, like, I'm so glad my husband know who his dad is, because my dad has so many kids, and I learn of a new child every time I see him. So I'm glad that my husband knows exactly who his father is, because I could very well be married to my brother, because I don't even know my siblings, like all of them. Like, I know a couple of them, but I don't even know all of them. Like, so I'm so glad he knows who his dad is. Like, it's just crazy out here. But anyway, I just want to let somebody know to be encouraged, and know that you're not alone. And if you need to see somebody probably like I do, then, go ahead and do that. It's okay. Like, and it, although we see all the bad in these guys, there is another side to the story. Okay, there are good guys out there. There are good fathers out there, who take care of their kids, take care of their family, who loves you to death. There are good guys out there. So don't go looking for that guy who's your dad. Don't do that. When you grew up like I did, don't do that. Actually look for the complete opposite. Okay, because they are out there. So that was my little take on that. Let me know what y'all think. how y'all grew up. If y'all feel like I feel, if y'all feel the opposite, am I weird? Am I crazy? Let me know. This is not my hair. This is a um, half wig because I took my sewing down. I was supposed to wear my natural hair until we go on our cruise. And I got my hair done. It was looking good. It was shaking, blah, blah, blah. And then I stepped in the humidity and I was at work like I looked like a poodle at work. I couldn't wait to get off and get out of these streets, okay? Because I was looking a hot mess. But if you would like to purchase my hair, or if you are interested in my hair, I will link a description down in the I will put my link down in the description box below. I do have a second line of hair now where I offer all kind of different textures, deep wave, loose wave, curly, loose curl, all kind of different stuff with all kind of different colors. We do custom colors. So just let me know what you want. If you want it, I can get it 360 frontals, all kind of stuff. So just let me know. And remember that y'all are perfectly imperfect, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Okay? Mwah. Bye, y'all.